What is freedom? What single word descriptive would you use to describe the reality of freedom to someone who has never experienced it? What becomes of freedom if there are no requirements and no accountabilities required of us? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1 of a double Torah portion, Bahar and Bechukotai. We begin today in the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter 25, and verse 1, where we read this opening phrase from the Hebrew, Vayidabar Yahweh el Moshe Bahar Sinai. It's translated, and spoke Yahweh to Moshe on the mount, the hill, the elevation of Sinai. One of the techniques that we use to study the word, and I've been using this a little bit here in this series a little bit recently, is to take the symbolic meaning of the paleo forms of the letters and give a collective understanding to what a word might mean. I have found that it's not always the case, but very often the case. You can find an interesting translation that meets very close to the standard translation of the word, perhaps with a little different angle, a little different insight. Now, while we're used that before and we're going to again today, it's not to declare a doctrine. Don't go rearrange your world and change your entire life based upon a suggested symbolic meaning from the letters of a particular word. It's insightful. It's a means of study. It's intriguing. It's something to consider. Here's something worthy of thought, perhaps. But again, no one's trying to decree a doctrine, so don't take it to that level. Again, it's for study purposes, for insight purposes, and I find it intriguing. Today, let's look at two words that are in this opening phrase, Bahar Sinai. Bahar is spelled with a bet, a hey, and a resh. The bet in the original form looks similar to a house, and it's pretty well accepted that that's the meaning of the letter. The hey was originally what looked like a man with both hands in the air over his head saying, I need your attention. Pay attention over here. Something is being revealed. So it comes with the idea of to reveal. An additional meaning that has been added on over the years pertains to the idea of pronouncing the letter hey, hey. And when you do that, your breath hits the palm of your hand if you hold your hand in front of your mouth. So it's given us also the idea of breath, in Hebrew, ruach, also known as the wind or spirit. And then the last letter is the resh, which looks like the back of a man's head or a person's head, suggesting the idea of a head one, a supreme one, a chief, a leader. So Bahar, the mountain, this particular mountain, Mount Sinai especially, would be considered symbolically the house of the revelation of the head. That's exactly what happened. This is the residence, the physical location where the Supreme One, Yahweh Elohim, was and is revealed. We add to that the idea of Sinai, a Samech, a Yod, a Nun, and a final Yod, an additional Yod. A samech is circular, and it gives the idea of being encompassed or protected as you are surrounded. It's the Nun has a variety of meanings. I mean, just pick one. Activity and fish originally. It's the idea added on over the years of the air. That is not the air we breathe, but the air who inherits everything, H-E-I-R. And then we have two yods. The yod looks like a shape of a hand. Here we have two. So Sinai would be protected by the hands of the air. So together we have the residence, the house, where is the revelation of the Supreme One, and where we are protected by the hands of the air. I find that interesting in that Am Israel, as they gathered there, they were indeed protected. Amalek attacked them, but Yah enabled them to prevail. And while they were there and building the Mishkan and taking care of becoming a nation, making their trips around that mountain, Yah guarded over them with the Shekinah and blessed them and favored them, gave them food on the ground and water from the rock and shelter and shade and warmth, everything they had need of. What a wonderful and glorious place. Yah knew that they would come here. Matter of fact, Moshe had gone to Pharaoh back in Mitzrayim in Egypt and said, "Let my people go." Yah says that they may worship me. The intention all along, even when Yaakov and his family was coming from the land of Israel down to Mitzrayim, to Egypt, Yah knew that they would be in servitude. Yah knew that the future generations would suffer, but he also knew that they were going to be brought back to that particular mountain. And there he would encounter them. There he would reveal himself to them. There he would instruct them. And from there he would lead them back to the land. You see, Yah does not act on whims. Nothing ever occurs to him. Nothing takes him by surprise. He's not shaken by any of the maneuvers of world leaders, especially in our day. If Pharaoh did not scare him, if the Philistines did not scare him, if Nebuchadnezzar was but a pawn in his hand, if Darius and Cyrus and Artaxerxes meant nothing to him as far as controllers, he used them for his own purposes. If the world leaders over the generations and centuries have not shaken him, what fear do we have of anyone who would try to raise up their head in our day? Whether they carry a governmental title of any means or whether they're just a wealthy man trying to maneuver their way and will upon the earth, it doesn't make any difference to Yah. They're all the same. Knowing that, you and I have been brought to a revelation of this mountain. It's encapsulated in the revelation of the tabernacle and the temple. It's further revealed to us in Messiah Yeshua. We are Messiah Yeshua's body. We have a temple within ourselves. The Ruach HaKodesh lives within our temple. And there we behold the revelation of the Supreme One. And from there, we realize that we are surrounded and protected by the hands of the air. My friend, we should not be worried. We should not be distraught. You and I have been given freedom. Yah gave that to us. Man cannot take that freedom from us. They may limit us. They may constrict us. They may even lock us away. But they can't take away the freedom of Yah. Now, the freedom of Yahweh is predicated in requiring responsibility and accountability on our part. That means that we become willing to walk in his ways and live according to his precepts, the beginning of which is Shabbat. Shabbat, again, is not something you do. Shabbat is a place, a realm, a time, a moment, if you will, that we step into, that we enter into, where Yah is at rest from the seventh day of creation. It's all been established. It's all done. And Yah is full and complete, and he's inviting you and I to come in and dwell in that fullness and that completeness with him. Shabbat is not about recovering from the previous 6 days of labor. Entering into Shabbat is about preparing for the 6 days of labor that are ahead. And we run to it. We start early. We prepare ourselves. We sense its nearness. We yearn for it. We run to it. We embrace it. We love it. And that's what Yahweh wanted all along. More about this in the Shemitah tomorrow. Until then, shalom.